two trucks in the same lot, 40 feet apart. One guy's here at 40 inches the morning because he has to be. The other one's here because he wanted a bagel. They apprenticed together 31 years ago, 4 months apart in age. Neither household ever pulled ahead of the other by more than a rounding error. $86,000 a year, probably not far off yours. The bagel guy stopped at 62. He's got a boat that is objectively not a nice boat, a half-finished garage, and Tuesdays are just Tuesdays. The other one is 67. His thermos is older than his truck. Ask him what went wrong, and he'll tell you honestly, nothing did. No gambling problem, no boat he couldn't afford. He just said yes about 8 times over 30 years to 8 ordinary things everybody around him said yes to. Most of them you've said yes to too. That's your gap. Not income, not luck, not really discipline. 8 yeses, none of which felt like a mistake on the day. Your financial advisor. And this isn't advice just someone with a spreadsheet and a grudge. So instead of firing statistics at you, meet Delea. 34, cleans teeth outside Columbus. Her husband, Ruben, drives a service van. $96,000 between them. The same money as those 2 trucks. And she doesn't yet know which one she's ending up in. Keep a running tab on yourself as we go because the number at the end is uncomfortably close to $1 million. One quick note, when you hear average, ask if it's a mean or a median. Your mean is whatever the richest 10% did. Your median is the person actually in the middle. The gap is where the lie lives. 1, the extended warranty. You're at the counter and the kid asks if you want to protect your purchase. $240 on a laptop that cost $1,100. There's a line behind you. The fastest way out is yes. That takes about 4 seconds. On plans like that, somewhere between 20 and 40 cents of every dollar collected ever comes back out as an actual repair. The rest is margin. Your warranty can account for up to 35% of a retailer's total gross profit. At a dealership, it's worse. They buy the contract for $600, sell it to you for $2,000, then roll it into your loan so you pay interest on your peace of mind for 6 years. If a $4,000 repair would genuinely wreck your life, buying certainty at a bad price can be the right move. Just know you're not beating the odds, you're renting them. Ruben financed an $1,800 contract on the van plus 2 appliance plans. Delea forgot she had $420 a year tied up in this alone. The subscription you never cancel. Dailea's on the couch, finally going through the bank app line by line. She finds a streaming service nobody's opened since spring $11.99. She clicks cancel. It asks if she's sure, then offers 3 months half off, then wants a reason from a drop-down. Ruben says something from the kitchen. She looks up, and when she looks back, she thinks, it's $12, I'll do it this weekend. That's the whole mechanism. And it's happened to you too. Studies find people underestimate their own subscription spending by roughly 2.5 times. And in 2025, the rule that would have forced companies to make canceling as easy as signing up got struck down in court a week before it would have protected you. That drop down, staying legal, isn't an accident. Overdraft fees. Banks pulled over $12 billion out of accounts like yours last year in overdraft fees. A typical hit is $35. Priced honestly, $35 on a $20 shortfall covered 2 weeks later is an annualized rate north of 0%. 2 major banks alone collected over $2 billion combined in overdraft revenue. A rule that would have capped this fee at $5 was finalized in late 2024 and killed by Congress before it ever took effect. 4 lottery tickets. If you buy them, you already know the odds are bad, so I'll be gentle. Delea spends about $340 a year. Draw games return 50 to 60 cents on the dollar. Scratch tickets do a bit better. Slot machines, by law in most places, have to return 80 to 90%. Your state gives you worse odds than the machine with the free drinks, and roughly 30% of what you spend becomes a tax on hope, collected hardest from people with the least reason to have any. Card interest, the most expensive money you'll ever borrow, and the only loan you never shopped for. Balances hit a record $1.28 trillion last year. $10,000 at 20%, paid at the minimum, takes 19 years to clear and costs you over $21,000 in interest, more than the thing itself cost. Your minimum payment isn't a payment plan. It's a setting calibrated to keep you solvent enough to keep paying and indebted enough to keep needing them. This household carries about $7,900 at 22%. That's $1,760 a year. 6, sports betting. Last year, households like yours wagered over $1.5 trillion on sports. The books kept nearly $17 billion of it. But the number that matters isn't the handle. A recent study tracking bank data found that for every dollar wagered, net investment into household accounts fell by just over $2. That's not moralizing, that's a measured effect, and it lands hardest on households that can least afford it. Don't gamble, and don't play the lottery. Good, genuinely. But notice what you just did. You checked the list for the ones that were somebody else's problem. That's the wrong audit. The two left apply to nearly everyone, and neither ever sends you a bill. 7, investment fees, the one you'll never feel because it never leaves your account as a visible charge. Last year, nearly 80% of actively managed large cap funds underperformed a simple index fund. Meanwhile, a typical advisory fee sits around 1% of assets a year. Delia pays 1.15% on $180,000, a number she's never once said out loud in dollars. Run 2 identical million-dollar portfolios at 7% for 30 years. The one paying that 1% fee finishes $663,000 behind. Not because you just lose the fee, you lose everything that fee would have kept earning forever. The car. The average new car payment hit a record $770 this year. More than 1 in 5 people carry a payment over $1,000 a month, often financed for 7 years or longer, on an object that loses 60% of its value in 5. The real trap isn't depreciation, that's just physics. It's that a growing share of trade-ins are underwater, owing thousands more than the car is worth. And the fix is rolling that debt onto a newer car and financing it again. It's a mortgage on a ghost. If you're in that 1 in 5 paying over $1,000 a month, that $1,000 a month invested at 7% for 30 years instead becomes about $1.2 million. Add up Delea's year. Warranties, $420. Overdraft fees, $225. Lottery, $340. Sports betting, $780. Forgotten subscriptions, $1,080. Credit card interest, $1,760. Investment fees, $250. The car, $3,360. Just over $10,000 in 1 year from a household doing nothing anyone would call irresponsible. Forward, $10,000 a year at 7% for 30 years is about $946,000. Drawn down at 4%, that's roughly $37,000 a year for life, on top of everything else. That's the entire distance between the two trucks. And here's what that number actually looks like day to day. It looks like checking your balance in the parking lot before walking into the grocery store. It looks like putting the second item back not because you can't afford it, but because the math in your head has about a $40 margin and you're not sure which side of it you're on. It looks like deciding a strange noise in your van is probably fine. It looks like working full-time in a household above the median income and still being 1 water heater away from a hard decision. None of it involves a yacht. There's no single moment you could point to and call stupid, just a decade of small, reasonable yeses, said to people trained to ask. Your own tally comes out worse than expected. Understand this. You didn't fail. You were outspent. Every item on this list has a pricing team behind it, and in several cases, a lobbying effort that removed the rules meant to protect you all within about 18 months. You were never told there was a competition, so it's not weakness that you didn't win it. Which means the fix isn't discipline, and it isn't guilt, and it definitely isn't giving up your coffee. The fix is attention, applied once in 8 places. Decline the warranty. Read your statement like it belongs to someone else you're auditing. Finish the cancellation all the way through. Move your emergency fund somewhere that actually pays you. Check your expense ratio. Buy the 3-year-old car. None of it requires you to earn more, and none of it requires willpower at 9:40 on a Tuesday night. You do it once, and it keeps paying you back forever. There's no version of this where you win by being smarter than everyone designing these systems. They're very good at their jobs. But every one of them needs the same thing from you. Not your income, not your intelligence, your inattention. That's the entire supply chain. So you don't have to beat them, you just have to stop supplying them. And that guy with the thermos, if you could stop him at any one of those 8 moments and tell him exactly what it was about to cost, he'd have said no in 4 seconds. Nobody stopped him. There was a line behind him, the kid was waiting, and it was $240. That's the genius of it. It's always a small ask. $240, or $9.99 a month, or 1%. And 30 years later, it's $946,000, and you can't point to the moment it happened. 8 yeses. That's the entire distance between the truck you drive because you want a bagel and the truck you drive because you have to. Go be the bagel guy.